Hi, Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. So this week I wanted to talk about successes and failures because we all have them. I know sometimes you make comments, oh, I make it look so easy, but I have paintings that don't work out that well, and I'm going to show you one this week. When you go to a gallery and you see all these beautiful paintings that someone's done, you don't know how many paintings that were rejected or edited or discarded to get this group for the show. Not everything turns out. So my wife and I, Anne and I, went up to Marcia Burt's ranch. Marcia Burt has a gallery we both show in Santa Barbara, and she's got a ranch about 100 miles north of Santa Barbara, and we spent 2 nights there. So I did 4 paintings. The first 2 I quite liked. The third I did in acrylic, and it's okay. And the fourth one, to my mind, just didn't work. I was filming it, and I got there late in terms of the morning light, and I felt rushed, and I just didn't put enough attention into the compositional structure before I began, the very thing that I'm always talking about. So here, I'll show you how it went. We got out there about 4 in the afternoon to paint, and this whole area here was a big cliff that's all in shadow, and the whole time I was painting, the sun probably shifted from this angle, say, to that angle. So the structure I'm sort of looking at like this. It's a good vertical here, good vertical here. And by the time I finished, that little hit of light was gone, but I'd remembered it and I could put it in. This was the next morning at about 7, and these are the shadows from the barn here. And they were getting shorter, but most of this stayed just the way it was for the whole time I was painting. The light was coming down here. But I got that in pretty quickly. This is a photo I took about, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes in, just brushing in the big dark masses. And you can see, you can already get a sense of the structure of how this thing is going to work. And there's the finished painting. You can see most of what you call detail is just stuff that is happening right on the edge of the light and the dark. On the afternoon of the second day, Marcia encouraged me to go out with her acrylics. She's an acrylic plein air painter. And I did that. It was a 20 by 24, and I went out with her paints. And it was blistering hot and dry. And by way of excuse, I suppose, I don't mind the top part where there's really good value shifts. I think it works fine. But down here, it just got away from me in terms of how to do that in acrylic when things are drying quickly. But for the most part, I don't mind the structure of the painting, the way it works, how we're sort of getting orchestrated around the composition. It was okay. I thought I'd planned this better, but you see the trees there are in light, and then now, about 3 minutes later, the light is halfway across the field, and within a couple more minutes, it's everywhere, it's shining on me. And so I didn't time it that well, and by the time I got there and had set up the video camera, the very crisp line of light I had at the back was already gone. The whole thing was flooded in. So I could tell it wasn't, I had rushed the composition and setting up the camera. It just didn't come across very well. I got one nice telephone pole mark in here at the end. And there's the finished painting, but it's not really what I'd wanted. This was sort of more like, I did this thumbnail afterward, but more what I had in mind, dense there on the left and more open on the right. And you see the foreground just went flat. I put the 3 bushes in a row, all the same size. And I'll show you in the photograph how I wanted the overlaps to work in the foreground. That we've got an object here, this bush, and this bush is in behind it. And then we come here, and then there's a big bush here, and another one coming out of there. And these posts are coming forward. So we've got this sense of objects in space taking us back to here. And from this point back, then everything sort of falls into place fairly naturally. So when I got home, I decided I was going to do this painting again and get a better sense of that overlap in the foreground. So here's how that went. So you can see I'm making a distinction here between the green grasses of the field and the ochre grasses that are not in the field. The fence posts will go right down that line. So I'm sort of helping create the vertical there as it moves back, get that sense of moving back into space, and sort of a second layer of other grass color in there, and then the shadow side or the dark side of the bushes, and then the big bush back there. just so there's a good sense of shapes and overlapping, and then that nice sort of pale ochre color of the country road, the gravel, and then I don't know, not the lit side, but the colored side of these things, and then the fence posts go in. And now you see there's a really nice sense of this kind of overlapping space that helps us move back into the painting. Only now I notice that those two bushes in the foreground are exactly the same size. So I repainted them, and now there's like a nice sense of these overlapping shapes helping us back into the painting. So I hope you found that helpful. Please do like if you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe. I will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, and bye for now.